In this video, you'll learn how to transfer money internationally, but not through your bank. Stay tuned to learn why. Well, hi everybody. We have the pleasure today to have here Iva with Moneycorp. How are you doing today, Iva?
Hi, good morning. I'm doing fabulous, thank you. Thanks for having me. And the last name is Slavtcheva, but I'm perfectly happy with Eva from Moneycorp. That's a perfectly good introduction. And I really need to change my last name to Connor, my husband's last name. Four
I
years
can,
late now.
I can probably pronounce that very much easier.
Yes.
And what is the origin of your last name?
Bulgarian, originally from
Bulgarian.
Bulgaria, moved here 17, 18 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, now officially a Floridian.
Wow. And now you get to see the tropical storm.
It's fun. It's part of the year.
Sure.
It's something new to do every year, get prepared. I don't mind it. I like the heat all year long. So I love being a Florida gal.
Right. Well, so glad that you're here, Eva. We had another call the other day with another Moneycorp colleague of yours who takes care of Latin America, Juliana Scolari, and we're going to do three calls. Juliana, yourself, and your manager, Kelly, and we'll just kind of broach different topics about what you guys do, which is uh, money exchange and transfer. So let's see. Tell us a little bit about who is Moneycorp. What is it that you do exactly, and where?
Absolutely. Be happy to do so. So MoneyCorp specializes in currency exchange and international money transfers. We can offer your international buyers and sellers far better rates of exchange than going through a traditional bank. We can save your clients hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on the amount being transferred. And it's a much more personalized service than going through a traditional bank. MoneyCorp's headquarters is in London, United Kingdom, and company started in 1979. And since then, we've grown in all directions. We have teams in 10 different countries now, and I'm based in our Orlando, Florida offices. But we also have teams in Canada. We have a team in Brazil. We have teams in Europe and in Hungary and Spain and well, UK, of course, over in Dubai and all the way in Australia as well, and Hong Kong. So we are global. We truly are global. We're trying to help clients around the clock, no matter where they are. And we can help exchange about 120 different currencies. So chances are most places we should be able to assist your clients.
Well, that's so fantastic. I didn't know about that. Uh, I mean,
Only growing.
I didn't know that you serve so many countries. Let me put it that way. We are most used to Europe and Brazil. Uh, so how does it work for the people who don't know? What do they need to know about? How do I qualify to transfer money? Is there rules and regulations? What do I need to know?
Well, anyone really can use our services as long as they have to need a need to move money from one country to another. A lot of what we focus on are our clients that are buying or selling properties internationally or buying or selling businesses, but that's not all we can help with. We can help somebody looking to move a pension from one country to another, somebody looking to pay property maintenance fees, or just sending money to friends and family. So it could be a small, regular monthly amount if needed, or a large one-time transfer to make an investment. We don't have a maximum amount. So the sky's the limit. Transfer as much money as you'd like. And we can help most countries, most clients, but every case is unique. Sometimes you will have a client that resides in one country, but their money's coming from another country and being invested in a third country. So we're quite used to unique scenarios. And we always prefer to get in touch with each client, have a discussion, understand their requirement, and really guide them through the process. I think one of the things that really makes Moneycorp unique is we are a large team, a large company, a big operation, but we give our clients the small company feel, that personal touch, where we really handhold them along the way. Dedicated currency dealers help them and assist them, and that's not something you get with every currency exchange company out there. That definitely makes us unique, our level of customer service.
What is the difference about why can't people just send money through their own bank in their own country? What's the difference?
Well, anybody can really, and a lot of people do, unfortunately, just because they don't think perhaps to look elsewhere. Maybe they're not aware that we exist. I myself, prior to working at Moneycorp, I used the bank. My whole family moved from Bulgaria over to US. We use the bank. I think it's a natural thing to do. You walk into the bank, you trust them, they handle your money. And a lot of the time, clients are unfortunately unaware of how much the bank is charging. So typically speaking, banks in Europe will take a margin on the exchange rate anywhere between 3 to 6%. American banks will charge more. I think, unfortunately, we're one of the worst ones when it comes to margins on exchange rates when compared to the rest of the world. So American banks can go up as high as 8 to 10% margin, which can cost so much if you're moving a large amount of money. Canadian banks are honestly pretty fair, but they still can't beat an exchange rate offered by a currency exchange company. Canadian banks will take a margin anywhere between 2 to 4%, and it varies so on and so forth. But I think the big misconception is when you walk into the bank, a typical bank will tell you this will be a fee of $45 to transfer your money. And a lot of clients think, oh, $45? That's fair, I'll pay that. That's just the international wire fee. That's not the cost. The actual cost is the margin that they'll implement on the exchange rate. And that's where a lot of people get burned. And that's where it's not very clear just how much you're paying. With
so to clarify, the margin is the spread. In other words, they augment a little bit more. So that's where they make the money, correct?
Correct, absolutely correct. I've actually done this myself as a test. If you walk into your regular bank and ask them, what's the exchange rate, between euro and dollar that I would get today? Somebody will sort of look at their screen and just give you the live rate that you would see on Google, on Bloomberg, and that's correct, but that's not the exchange rate you're actually going to get when you're exchanging your money. That's just what the live rate is. And that's where the confusion a lot of times steps in. With Moneycorp, it will be very transparent. We will work with the client, a live quote before they book an exchange and transfer. So they'll know exactly how much money they're sending us, exactly what exchange rate they're getting, and how much they'll receive on the other end. And it's a little bit of an educational process too. We often encourage our clients to turn around and compare with their bank so that they can really see the savings for themselves.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Go ahead and check over there, then check again with us, see what you think.
Absolutely. The more they know, the more they tell their friends and family, and the more the word spreads and more people save. And, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Tell us about that thing about locking the rate and where that is applicable.
Yes. So this is one of our, again, unique services features that Moneycorp offers. We have the ability to lock into a rate of exchange for anywhere up to 2 years' time, which is quite a long time. That can really come in handy with an international investor, perhaps, that maybe is looking at a new build, and payments on a new build could last as long as 9 months, 1 year, longer. So this is really to protect yourself and make sure that even if the exchange rate moves against you, you can afford your investment, you can afford your mortgage and your payments. It's a peace of mind, I think, more than anything. A lot of the time, a property purchase, the whole process could take 6 months, it could take a year of planning or longer. And a lot of the time people align their attorney, their taxes, their realtor, their home, all these other things they have to do. And the currency exchange sort of gets left as the last thing to do, unfortunately. And that's when it could really become an issue, when it's time to move the money and you look at the rate and you go, oh gosh, this has really moved against me. Can I really afford this now? It could cost $10,000, $20,000 more if you don't pay attention. So the earlier you start the process with Moneycorp, the more opportunity to save. We can watch the exchange rate movements for you. We can lock you into a rate of exchange a year or months before your purchase so that you can ease into it without any worries and know that you can make those payments. Besides the lock-in, we offer other options such as limit orders and watch orders, which is a very simple way of taking instant advantage of a rate when you wish. Instead of waking up every morning, checking on the rate and seeing if you're ready, you just tell Moneycorp, ideally, I want to get this rate. And books it for the client when that rate is available, whether that's tomorrow or in 6 months. So a lot of clients like that ease, that automated process.
I see. Yeah, I think that would be a difference, notable difference from a bank. I mean, a bank won't freeze the rate, that's for sure.
Nope, you're going to walk in and get the exchange rate of the day, and that's it.
Another difference is that clients can do what one does in investing, which is averaging. In other words, they can kind of, as the exchange is fluctuating, they send $1,000, $10,000, and so forth and so on. They don't have to send everything at once. So
Absolutely.
They're kind of dollar averaging. So at the end, they pay less today, more tomorrow, but they kind of averages.
Absolutely, they can do that. And again, that comes back to the earlier they start the process, the more opportunities they can send payments in slowly, they can lock into exchange rates. We have clients that actually send us the whole amount, convert it, and then hold dollars on account with us, just waiting for closing day. So we are extremely flexible on how we do the exchange and transfer for the client. It really is up to their timeline and their requirements. They can call us a week before closing. We'll make sure everything is done. But if you ring us 6 months before closing, then you're setting yourself up for success and opportunities to save money.
How long can they keep the money with you guys?
We don't have a limit. Clients are welcome to keep funds on account with us for as long as they need. There's really no limit. We have clients that hold funds on account with us for longer than a year sometimes. They're either waiting on a property or waiting on an exchange rate movement or just deciding what to do with it,
That's right. And then this is one thing that I find interesting, because from what I understand, normal banks, if someone is buying a property from overseas, they will want to see the contract, purchase and sale contract for the exact amount and so forth and so on. And by virtue of knowing what our clients did with you guys, that's not the way it is there. So, and the other important part is, once you have that money in your possession, you can put anywhere you want, anywhere your client desires, right? For example, title company or their own bank in America, or in our case, we have a division of our company that does renovations and stuff like that. So they pay us to. So explain that part of it, please.
Absolutely. That's a really good point that you bring up, and it is a common question that we get. I think a lot of the time people will assume that they can only transfer money from their personal account to Moneycorp and send money to a personal bank account. And that's not the case. We can send money to title company, to a third-party account, friend or family member, to a furniture company, to a property management company, you name it. As long as you give us the account details, Moneycorp will process that payment there. There's not a problem. We can also receive money from a third-party account. Maybe, friends or family are helping you get the money together for your investment. They can directly send money to your Moneycorp account. That is okay with us. As far as additional documentation, such as like property contract or property sale, it's typically not required. The times when those documents may be required from Moneycorp is if we're over 1 million type transfers. That's just for anti-money laundering, or if it's what we call a high-risk jurisdiction country. which there's a list of them. It's sort of always updated by our compliance team, and we will certainly let the client know early on if they reside in one of those high-risk jurisdictions that will require extra documents. But it will be very clear to the client from the very beginning. But in your most sort of average transactions, we don't require that additional information. If needed, Moneycorp can actually provide a flow of funds to show when we receive the funds, when we exchange them, where and when we sent them to. Sometimes the loan, the mortgage may have that requirement where they want to see the flow of funds. And that's certainly something we can provide to the realtor, to the client, to title company if needed for extra security.
And before I forget, make sure that you send us your information so that when we put this video on YouTube, we can put it down below on comments, how to reach you, how to find you. And and as usual, if you guys are finding this great information, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. That's for sure.
Lots of good information for Cliberto, always.
I've been with you guys for a long time. Let's jump to the other side. We kind of talk about perhaps a buyer. Let's talk about a seller. There's something very important about the seller.
Yeah.
Somebody who already bought a property here. He's from Europe, let's just pick it, years ago, and now the property appreciated so much that he decided to sell. And he's debating on where to repatriate the money, bring back to Europe, to England, let's just say England, or not. Explain that thing that is so important about how to inform the title company what to do with the funds and the consequences of transferring to their own bank, local, let's say their own Bank of America in Orlando.
Absolutely, that's so important. When I give this information to my clients, I've started making it bold and red and underlined to make sure they don't miss this information. If a seller instructs the title company to deposit money in their local personal US bank, the title company can do that without a problem. But the problem occurs later when that client decides to initiate a transfer from that bank to access their own money. A lot of the time, our foreign national sellers are not here for closing. They're home in Europe or in their home country. And US banks require you to be physically present at the branch to initiate a wire transfer, especially for a large amount. You may get away with moving $500 or $1,000, but that's going to take a lot of transfers to move a typical property proceeds amount. So it's so important for title company, for real estate professionals to have that conversation with the seller prior to closing. A lot of people do and have learned about it, but then the other side of it is I've had some feedback from realtors that say, I don't feel comfortable asking that question. And then my follow-up to that is, well, do you feel comfortable with your client's money being stuck? And then that client calling you and sort of being really upset. I think that's a worse option than having that question prior. I think the client will eventually thank you for bringing that up to their attention. So asking what are you going to do with the proceeds, I think really should become a part of the closing process. You'll better prepare your client for what's to come, especially when there's lack of travel at the moment. Even if they want to come to their bank, they probably can't. So it's more important than ever to make them aware of this. With using Moneycorp, we can set up an account prior to closing. The title company can directly wire proceeds into the Moneycorp client account. And then your seller can access that money anywhere in the world, over the phone, online. They have instant access to their money, and of course, far better rates of exchange. A lot of our foreign national sellers choose to keep funds on account with us post-closing day because they want to watch the exchange rate. Just because your closing day is today, who's to say the exchange rate is in your favor? If the title company directly wires proceeds to their home bank account in Europe, let's say, again, title company can do that, but the client has no clue what they're being charged, what exchange rate they're getting, what fees are added. By no means the title charges. This is just the US bank that they utilize for their transfers that they bank with. So
Oh, let me see if I understood that part. Okay, I was going to say, well, the title company can transfer their money back to England.
So every title company, I believe, in Florida, in the US, is banking with the US bank that handles their clients' exchanges and transfers in the background. So the title company can process the proceeds to go to the client's bank in England, but the client will get charged the US bank spread, the US bank margin. They're going to receive their local currency of British pounds, but the amount they'll get is far less. There'll be a substantial chunk taken out of those proceeds, and then it's too late to go back. You can't reverse the transaction once it's done. So again, so important for the sellers to be aware of this and to put them in charge. They can save so much money and headache. And unfortunately, we have experienced a lot of clients getting their funds stuck in the US bank over the last year. And it's a tough conversation to have, and it's hard to undo what's been done at that point. It's difficult. So being prepared, being informed will help the client, the realtor, title company, everyone just have that smooth closing process, and they'll really thank you for all of that afterwards.
Right. This has been so very informative. Thank you so much, Iva. To wrap up, let's just look back at what happened this past 1 year. We just kind of had to reinvent ourselves. Is there anything new that you want to tell us? Anything that became different in your business for this past 1 year that you had to do different, and anything that you want to tell us?
Absolutely. What I've noticed is over the last year, we've all obviously become more virtual. And I know we're all zoomed out, but there's been positives of this, especially with international business, with international transactions. I think realtors, title companies, ourselves, clients overseas have gotten used to getting these transactions done virtually, whether it's looking at a home virtually, whether it's working with a notary to complete closing documents. It's become the new norm, and in a way it's become easier to do international business because of all the new ways of doing business that we've been sort of forced into. I think there are positives to it. Things are getting done quicker virtually, and I think there's a certain ease to it. So I think that is good. What we have seen is, as far as trends go, we've seen a lot of foreign national sellers that has been nonstop over the last year, hasn't slowed down whatsoever. A lot of foreign national sellers. And what we're also seeing is Americans that are very, very interested to invest abroad. That has been sort of a new trend that has sprung up from everything that's happened over the last year. So I think we're more global than ever. Keep your eyes and ears open. There's always opportunities to connect, to gain, make a connection overseas, send the client referral over. I think be connected, reach out to people in Europe, people in Canada, any connections that you have language-wise or professionally-wise, because international business is bigger than ever. People are moving their money. People are ready to make jumps after being in quarantine for so long. So I think be ready. It's going to be a very busy end of 2021, I think.
Yeah, for us, the other side of this is that we learned is that because of the closed borders, yes, more remote transactions, but a lot of domestic transactions, a lot of migration to our area. People love Florida, people love Orlando, and so there are many people moving from other areas of the country here.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people from New York and California, and actually, even if it's a domestic transaction, there could still be a currency exchange element there, because a lot of the people living in California and New York are perhaps foreign nationals that moved there years ago. So now that they're moving to Florida, they may need to bring extra money for that purchase. So just because it's a move from California to Florida doesn't mean there may not be a currency exchange aspect there as well. So there's always a possibility.
Well, thank you so much, Iva, for being here with us. It's a pleasure to have you again, and so much information, usable information, shall I say.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My absolute pleasure. And if there's any questions, anything I can help with, let me know.
Yeah, just please send your information so we can put on down the comments on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much and have a good day. Okay.
Thank you, Cliberto. Take care.